Hi, I'm Bybreen Samuels and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. Well, today I'm going to introduce some business concepts around astrology, given that we do live in a consumer-driven world and obviously commerce runs the world that we live in. So when you're looking at either your career or your profession, or actually launching a business or running a large corporation, there are certain signatures that show up in astrology, and there's a corollary between the natal chart as well as the corporate chart. And I wanted to use the launch of Facebook stores or Facebook shop, which actually launched last week alongside this new moon in Gemini that actually took place on May the 22nd, and it was at 2 degrees of Gemini. So when you're looking at a corporate chart or you're looking at the launch of a product, what you're really seeking to do is to understand the motivation and the psyche of, be it the sole proprietor or the chief exec or the person who's really kind of running the show. And what you would do is actually look to the 5th house, because in the natal chart, the 5th house is ruled by Leo, and Leo is a representative of the king or the queen, but in business terms it's about the leader. And it's about the leader's motivation in terms of how he or she is going to motivate their staff, the reward system, as well as how they're going to actually go about marketing and promoting and selling the products that they do have on hand. So Facebook shop is obviously, comes under the helm of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. So I didn't know when Facebook actually sold its first product. So it was safer for me to go back and look at Mark Zuckerberg's actual birth chart. So his 5th house is in Aquarius. So it's no surprise that he launched, this major platform which is technology driven, which is a representation of Aquarius. So I looked to where his Uranus is, and his Uranus is in the 3rd house of Sagittarius. So Uranus rules technology and Uranus rules Aquarius, and it's in the sign of Sagittarius. So, and as we know, Facebook touches every corner of the world. There are about 2 billion people right across the world that actually and actively use the platform. So, it's reflected in his chart. But last week was this new moon in Gemini, and Gemini represents commerce. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is equally going through the sign of Gemini. So it's very coincidental, or it's actually, it was meant to be this release of a product that is about communication, but it's also about technology, all fall into the realm of Gemini. And they were transiting through his 10th house, and his MC is in Gemini, and it's at 19 degrees. So we have Venus, transiting Venus and transiting Mercury, virtually conjuncting his MC. So, Venus is about what you value. There's a value in communication. There's a value in trade. You've got Mercury, which is the sign of commerce and trade and communication, which represents this new product, Facebook shop, which is really focused at small businesses. Again, another representation of Gemini. Small businesses or small brands, and it's about creating leverage, whereby everybody who's got a product, and I think services, can actually set up a Facebook shop page on Facebook, and it will be linked to Shopify. And the whole idea is to create this seamless experience of when you want to try and link with your customers and the payment system. So some are thinking, is this going to be a takeover of Amazon? It may or may not be in the future, but I think one would really need to look to China on this, because there's evidence of these integrated services working because of WeChat. So WeChat is an app which has about 700 million people use WeChat, and it's an integrated app. So if you want to go and get your locks redone, or you want to book a doctor's appointment, or you want to meet up with friends or book theatre tickets, just think of every conceivable thing that we do in our everyday lives. It's captured on WeChat. And so Facebook Shop is, I think, another version of WeChat, because it's going to be like a one-stop shop where data is leveraged, and it's driven by AI. So the more data you have is the more effective and the more efficient the services can be. So Facebook Shop is this representation of the new moon that launched last week Friday on May the 22nd, about a commercial, communicative product and service, i.e. this time in the form of Facebook Shop, and which is really reflected in Mark Zuckerberg's chart. So I wanted to kind of begin introducing these concepts about business and astrology, so you can start thinking about, you know, if you're looking at launching a product or a service, you know, what approach would you take? What are the certain signatures that one would need in their chart? Now, you also need Mars, because Mars is what gives you the helps you build momentum when you're launching something. So Mars is in Scorpio, and Pluto is also in Scorpio. So it's a very Scorpionic house. It represents his 6th house. And so when you're looking at Mars, it's about the energy and the courage that is needed to launch something. But once the facts have been sifted through, you know, it's about stuff that's done privately. And then once there's a coherence around the data that's generated from it, then there's the ability to launch it to the world. And that's exactly what happened last week. I also wanted to share with you the signature of wealth and things that you could look out for. So in Mark's chart, he's got wealth stamped all over his chart. He's got so many signatures of wealth. A key one is he's got Venus trine Jupiter. Now Venus is in Taurus, the sign it rules. And it's, I think, at 15 degrees. And he's got Jupiter in Capricorn at 12 degrees. Now, Jupiter here is in the weaker position, but what actually gives it so much strength is that Jupiter is at 12 degrees of Capricorn. And any planet that's in a positive aspect that's at 12 degrees of Capricorn is a signature for like generational wealth. So he's got Jupiter at 12 degrees of Capricorn trining Venus at 15 degrees of Taurus. Taurus is a money house. Taurus is the 2nd house in the natal chart. So he's got a signature of literally generational wealth. But then when I looked at the other planets that could indicate wealth, he has Jupiter forming a wide conjunction with Neptune. Then there's a semi-sextile with Uranus, and then there's a wide sextile with Pluto. So money is something that obviously Mark is going to have in abundance through this lifetime. Clearly he has billions now, but it was signatured in his chart. So when you're looking at developing a product or a service and you're really looking at those kind of key fundamentals, these are some indications as to what will kickstart your product, you know, when to launch it, but actually is it the right product fit for your signature? So there you have it, beautiful people, just some sharings around when you want to launch a business, what to look for. And if you do have a product or a service, get on Facebook Shop. It's frictionless, that's the whole point. So it's time to bring your products to market. Take care, and I will bring you some more vignettes next time on Soul Stirring Astrology. Oh yes, put your comments in the comment box below if you've got anything to share about, you know, what business are you running or what ideas do you have, and what do you think could kickstart it. So stay well, feel free to share this episode with anybody in your network, like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again on the next episode. Bye.